You're listening to the BBM Global Network with 25 years in broadcast audio and video production. Our passionate team creates content and marketing for the world of Internet Talk Radio. If you've got a passion, come join us at bbmglobalnetwork.com. The BBM Global Network. Your voice is now heard.
Welcome to Happiness Ninja Down Under with your host, Jamie Rose. Jamie will educate and empower people, organizations, and communities to help us all make better health and well-being choices. She will also engage you with expert influencers from around the world. So now, please welcome the host of Happiness Ninja Down Under, Jamie Rose.
Welcome to Happiness Ninja Down Under. I'm your host, Jamie Rose, and you're on the Bold Brave Network, coming to you live from New York City. It's been another crazy fortnight, actually. I was sick last week, and unfortunately I had to cancel, which was a shame. I had a very cool 75-year-old author that was going to be on, but I'll have to bring him on later on. But I have an even more cooler guest today. I have the fabulous Eddie Luisi. He was the stage manager for Good Morning America. He still is, I should say, for over 33 years now. Isn't that right, Eddie?
That's absolutely right. And I'm not 75 years old, but I'm getting close. So we're good for all those, plus 60 friends of yours.
I think it's amazing that he just wrote his last book, his third book last year. And I think it's incredible that at his age, he hasn't let anything stop him. So I really wanted to highlight that.
Okay, well, I have 13 more years to write a book.
Well, no, you've got 13 years to write 3 books.
You're good.
I expect the next one to come out next year.
I'll be a guest on your show. See you in a year. Hi, everybody.
Totally. I love it. Well, thank you very much for joining me here today. There's so many things more to you than being the stage manager of Good Morning America, and they call you the manager to the stars. But that is definitely not my focus for bringing you here today. We met through Future Now Media Conference and clicked pretty instantly. I think both of us are very enthusiastic people.
Yes. I just don't wear, outfits and stuff. Like you have that ninja stuff thing. I don't run around like that. Do you still do that?
I do, actually. A friend and I are planning to do another a bit of a homeless gig here in New York soon. We haven't ironed out the details, so I won't give it away yet. But it's been a while since I've gotten to be able to wear the costume, and I'm pretty excited to put it on again.
Awesome.
But we might have to come up with a costume for you, because you have friends in the spirit 111.
Yes.
And you could have a cool costume to go with that.
I'm ready. Let's do it. Be bold and brave.
Exactly. Thank you.
Bold and Brave Network.
I got the pun.
It's a plug. I gave a plug to your network.
You did. So, Eddie, would you like to share with the group what Friends in the Spirit 111 is all about? In your words, I would love to hear you tell everybody.
Okay, so I'm going to read a little snippet. It's almost like a mission statement.
Okay.
Which I have written down over here, because at my age, I don't remember certain things. And then I'll chit-chat about who we are. Basically, Friends in the Spirit 111, we are an interactive community of believers of all faiths. where acceptance and respect is fundamental to everything we do. God speaks to us in spirit and community where we all are one. So Friends in the Spirit, basically, and I don't know the exact date. So if anybody out there is a friend in the spirit and knows the date, please let me know. I might have started 9-10 years ago. I started as emails. So back in the old days, every Saturday morning, I would send out an email blast around 500 friends. And all those friends were in media and ministry and music, right? I have the 4 M's that are important in my life, right? Music, media, ministry, and mentoring. So my 500 friends were all part of ministry, media, and music. And I guess I was mentoring other people and yourself and this and that. But mentoring didn't get into it, 10 years ago. And I would get all different reflections, stories, thoughts, poems, songs, and anything during the week that touched me, I would kind of copy and paste it, and I would send it out into an email blast. And like I said, I would send it out, and I would get responses, and people enjoyed it. Cool. And I did that for a while, but I wanted to reach out to more people. And I said, this is nice what I'm doing, but I'm only doing to my friends. So I said, if I do it on Facebook, maybe I could reach out to people that I don't know, and we could expand the community, and more people could be part of Friends in the Spirit 111.
Yeah, you can make a bigger impact.
Correct. So I initially did the same exact thing. I just copy pasted and put on Facebook. And I'd get around 5, 10, 15 people. I said, okay, this isn't working. But on my personal Facebook page, Eddie Luisi, I do a lot of Good Morning America stuff. And I get my phone and I talk to, hey, it's Eddie Luisi, this and that. And when I put my face on, all of a sudden I'm getting 2, 3, 4, 500 people. So I'm saying, maybe I should do that with the ministry. So then I started recording, and I would say, greetings and blessings, dear friends in the spirit, 111, it's Eddie Luisi. And then I would give a little theme, and then I would do different readings. And through the week, if not weeks and months, I have different folders, and I accumulate from different ministries and different websites and different prayers and reflections. And I would pick a theme at random, whatever touches my heart, my soul. And then I would kind of put different things in place and chat for 20 minutes, half hour, 40 minutes. So today, this is a piece of cake. I could talk for hours.
Well, that's good because sometimes I still get nervous and my mind goes blank.
Well, I have a guitar there. I can always pick up my guitar and play it for you. Can I ask you a question?
Of course.
Okay, so tell me about your audience, because I want to make sure what I'm sharing is touching your audience. So what is your general audience and the Happiness Ninja?
So it's all about health and happiness and empowering people to make better choices. So I've had, you introduced me to Lewis Henry Mitchell, and he came on and he was talking about the power of perseverance.
Yep.
And he used his story as an example to highlight how he did that. I've had Karan Bell. He's the founder of Asia's largest happiness organization. Oh. So he lives in Mumbai. So he's Hindu, and he was sharing a lot of cool stuff from his side of the world. I've had authors talking about how to overcome introversion. So basically, it all just ties into health and happiness. Obviously, Happiness Ninja Down Under and being the Happiness Ninja. My main focus is on happiness, but health is a derivative of happiness. So we need to be happy, we need to be healthy as well. So that's where that comes in.
Well, thank you for telling me that. Just to let you and your audience know, I'm not happy and I'm not healthy. Why do you have me as a guest? What's wrong with you?
That's not true. Stop it. Well, we have to cut to the break now, but when we come back, we'll get stuck into your story and you can tailor your message around happiness. But for me, I've brought you on here because of your belief in God, and that definitely ties in with people's happiness. So I would like to talk a bit about that too.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right. Well, we'll cut to the break, guys, and we'll be back in a moment.
What if there were a super tiny device that could diagnose the brain and is smaller than a single human hair? What if you could see inside the brain to help an epilepsy patient during surgery or to help the fight against Parkinson's disease? Dr. Patricia Broderick is proud to announce the Broderick Probe, a biomedical and electronic breakthrough. Imagine a probe to help with the understanding and potential cure of brain-related diseases. To learn more, listen live to the Easy Sense radio show with host Dr. Broderick, Wednesdays 7 p.m. Eastern on the Bold Brave Media Network and TuneIn Radio. And to help support the Broderick Foundation, please go to EasySense.com and learn how, with your help, we can fight these horrific brain disorders. That's EasySense.com to learn more and help support the Broderick Foundation. Author, radio show host, and coach John M. Hawkins reveals strategies to help gain perspective, build confidence, find clarity, achieve goals. John M. Hawkins' new book, Coached to Greatness, Unlock Your Full Potential with Limitless Growth, published by iUniverse. Hawkins reveals strategies to help readers accomplish more. He believes the book can coach them to greatness. Hawkins says that the best athletes get to the top of their sport with the help of coaches, mentors, and others. He shares guidance that helps readers reflect on what motivates them. We discover and assess their core values, philosophies, and competencies, find settings that allow them to be the most productive, and track their progress towards accomplishing goals. Listen to John Hawkins' My Strategy, Saturdays, 1 p.m. Eastern on the BBM Global Network and TuneIn Radio.
Welcome back to Happiness Ninja Down Under, guys. I'm your host, Jamie Rose, and you're on the Bold Brave Media Network. We are coming to you live, and I have a very, very special guest, Eddie Luisi, Manager of the Stars. He's been the stage manager for Good Morning America for over 33 years now, Eddie, out of the 40 years that the show's been running, I believe.
Something like that, 40, 45 years, I don't know. I think they started in 75, so is that 45 years, 46 years?
Now you are giving away your age. People will be able to work it out.
and I got some gray. I do have a coordinator. She's a producer, director, and she's saying, stop moving in. When you move in, you get all cut out. It's okay. People, they want to see the face up close.
Every gray hair? I'll stay far back then. So even though I met you through, learning that you were the stage manager of Good Morning America, you do so much more. And I would like to talk about Friends in the Spirit 111. I have a couple of questions about it to begin with. So you're preaching and you're doing ministry work, and you're talking about the gospel and also doing mentoring with it. I've watched a bunch of your podcasts, and people have questions and you answer them and you give them advice. But for me, the question that came up initially was the 111. Does that stand for something? And if it does, would you like to share the meaning behind it?
So I'm going to tell you the real meaning behind it, okay? You're getting the real stuff here on the Bold and Brave Network.
Excellent.
So I was sharing earlier, if anybody was watching, wake up everybody, were you watching? That I went on Facebook. Now, initially, when I wanted to do Friends in the Spirit on Facebook, there was already some organization or some page there. So I said, I still like Friends in the Spirit, so I'm going to add numbers. So I'm going to add 111. Now, initially, I like spiritual numbers, and I'm not into numerology. But a lot of times when I see different numbers, if I'm driving on a highway, if I see it on the phone or on the computer, I'll kind of look it up. And what I do look up is called angel numbers or sacred numbers. And I didn't want to do 1111 because 1111 for some people is like way out there and spiritual and not very religious. So I didn't want to alienate more religious, traditional people. So I did the 111. And 111 is just about spiritual awakening, being aware of your growth. And then in some sharing, somebody said, well, when I see 111, I think of the Holy Trinity, Jesus, Mary, God, the Holy Spirit, and the Father, Son, Holy Spirit. And I said, wow, I didn't think of that, but that's cool, So everything that I talk about is up for interpretation. I'm not an expert. I'm not ordained or anything. I'm just me, but I feel like I'm a spiritual person. I grew up in the Catholic faith. I played guitar at age 12. So I've been consistently in church for 50 years, every weekend playing music. But my spirituality has grown and into different faiths and different other things. And so I'm open to everything. It's not just about the gospel. And I'm not saying the gospel is bad or anything, but that does get involved into the whole friends in the spirit philosophy and talk.
Can I tell you a little secret?
Yeah.
So I had a feeling, because I knew you started on Facebook, that you added the 111 because of that exact reason. But I also, know a little bit about you. So I thought, I bet you he spun it though, so that it's relevant. And I looked up 111 and saw that it was an angel number. And I was like, oh, that's beautiful. It's like you turned a challenge or an obstacle into something that actually is relatable and meaningful. So I really liked that.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. So you just mentioned, I was just going to share with the audience about your music in ministry, but you beat me to it. So how did that start? Like, you started playing the guitar at 12 just randomly, or did someone approach you?
So I'm going to talk a little bit about guitar, which is ministry and music, and then also a little bit about mentoring. So I'll get 3 of my M's in this one thing.
Excellent.
So I grew up in Astoria, Queens. And Queens is maybe 20 minutes, a half hour from New York City. And at the time, back in the early 70s, a lot of us kids were picking up different instruments. So a bunch of us got guitars, and we would just kind of jam with each other. We would learn 1 or 2 or 3 chords, and we'd just hang out in each other's house or basement, whatever. And then I joined what was called the folk mass. So in the Catholic Church, back in the 70s, they had a folk mass. And basically it was folk religious music. It was simple chords, 3 chords. But I said, if I join that, I'll have to keep up with the other musicians, because I was the youngest in the group and there was older people. So I would keep up with them and I would get better and better and better. Talking about mentoring, I would have loved to have a musical career my whole life, but nobody actually mentored me about music and careers. I always thought if you were a musician, you have to travel, you have to work nights and weekends, and I want to be a family person. So I'll give you a little snippet before we go to a commercial, because I think we're going to a commercial soon, but I can elaborate more on that if you like to.
Sure. So we still have a little bit of time until the commercial, so that's okay. Otherwise, we cut your story off too soon.
See, we're happy. We're healthy and happy. I'm drinking water. There's no wine in here tonight. It's just water.
So is that actually what led you to being passionate about mentoring, because you realized that you lacked a mentor yourself at a crucial time that could have potentially, led you down something slightly different?
So I don't think that initially geared me toward mentoring. I think being in television more and then getting involved in the Future Now Media Conference, that helped me do more mentoring. But then I would sit back and I would say, if I looked at my own life, I wasn't mentored. So nobody actually told me that I could have been a studio musician. If I would have learned music, I could have been a studio musician and worked 9 to 5 and work in the studio doing albums and recordings and commercials. So I wasn't mentored, but now I'm trying to mentor others.
I actually really like the fact that you pointed out that you had a preconceived notion about what the industry or the career would entail, but it turns out in the end you could have tailored it to suit you, which I think it keeps a lot of people sort of stuck and held back, that kind of preconception of things. We do have to cut to the break now, though. So when we return, we'll continue with your story. Thanks, Eddie. We'll be back in a moment.
Okay, see you in a bit.
Did you know that your beliefs create your entire reality, but it's the subconscious beliefs that do most of the creating? Belief shifter and life coach Shiraz can help you identify those limiting beliefs and eliminate them, often in a single session.
Like it was almost instant, like I had relief right away.
Creating better health, relationships, careers, and finances. Let Shiraz help you step out of safety and into awareness.
Definitely something's happening. It's like a flow inside. You know, it feels good.
Whether in person or online, Shiraz provides personal coaching, belief shifting. Visit Shiraz at energeticmagic.com or call 416-529-7429. Energetic Magic on the BBM Global Network, Tuesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern. Find your greater happiness. Be well. Be aware. Be magical.
Are you struggling to care for elderly parents or a spouse? Do you wonder if being a caregiver is making you sick? Are you worried about taking time off work to care for elderly parents and balance work, life, and caregiving? Has caregiving become exhausting and emotionally draining? Are you an aging adult who wants to remain independent, but you're not sure how? I'm Pamela D. Wilson. Join me for the Caring Generation radio show for caregivers and aging adults, Wednesday evenings, 6 Pacific, 7 Mountain, 8 Central, and 9 Eastern, where I answer these questions and share tips for managing stress, family relationships, health, well-being, and more. Podcasts and transcripts of the Caring Generation are on my website, PamelaDWilson.com, plus my caregiving library, online caregiver support programs, and programs for corporations interested in supporting working caregivers. Help, hope, and support for caregivers is here on the Caring Generation and PamelaDWilson.com.
Welcome back to Happiness Ninja Down Under. I'm Jamie Rose, the host of this series, and you are tuning in to Bold Brave TV on the Bold Brave Media Network, coming to you live from New York City. Well, Eddie Luisi, my guest for today, he's a little bit north of New York. You're about an hour north, aren't you, Eddie?
I am.
Thank you again for joining me. So before the break,
Can I ask you a question? Can I ask you a question?
Yeah, sure, of course.
So there's these little commercial breaks, but we don't see the commercials. So what are they? Are we doing, tissue paper? Are we talking about dog food? Are we doing soda, pizza? I want to know what these commercials are.
It's all related to health and happiness. So typically, it's other coaches or people who have different mentor programs and things like that.
And now one other notice. See your sign to your right, the Happiness Ninja sign? Yes. I love that sign, but the black thing, that's a lawn sign. That goes in the grass, right? You just dug it right into your couch.
Dude, I'm working with what I have. The other one blows over too easily, so I was like, I'll use this one instead.
I love that.
Pick up.
Observant. I'm very observing.
I like it. I actually really like your set. So.
Thank you.
So before the break, you was talking about your passion for mentoring, and you stopped your story. So I wanted to let you finish it.
Okay, I don't remember where I left off, but I'll start somewhere else. Basically, if you looked at my LinkedIn page, right, on LinkedIn, it's Eddie Luisi, Luisi. Mm-hmm. And the first paragraph says, Eddie has been honored and blessed to work with many of the best in all forms of the entertainment business. And Eddie has handed out a lot of business cards, met a lot of people, and made a lot of connections where I could help others. One time there's a woman, her name is Joan Baer. She's a young adult author. She's written 13, 14 books. And I knew her through a friend, Tony Rossi, who's the producer, director, editor of The Christophers. It was a show that I used to direct. And she had a grandson who graduated from college, and she wanted to know if I could mentor him a little bit. I said, yeah, let's go out to breakfast, because I love to eat. Hey, Italiano. So we go to a diner, the Brooklyn Diner in New York City, and we get together. My friend Tony couldn't make it, so it was just the three of us, right? So I chatted and was mentoring, giving advice to the grandson. And then at the very end, I said, hey, look, I'm a stage manager, okay? As a stage manager, I can't hire you. If you're a musician, I can't get your music, published or a record contract. If you're an author, I can't. There's certain things I can't do, but I have met a lot of people, so I could kind of connect you.
Mm-hmm.
And then Joan comes really close to me, right? Like face to face, she goes, Eddie, you're not a connector. You're a divine appointer. You help souls with their divine appointments. And I said, whoa, like I never heard that before. Now, I've watched The Secret. I don't know if you ever saw The Secret. It's on Netflix. And
I have. Yep, I have.
All these spiritual people and all these experts, and they all have these lower thirds, right? In the old days, we would call them chirons. I don't know what they call them nowadays. But they would have their name and their title. Now, one person had divine appointer. So I'm saying to myself and I'm saying to God, okay, what do you want to do with that? What do you want to do with divine appointer? So I don't know. I haven't started a book or a movie or a documentary or anything with divine appointer. But when I do these interviews with different people like you, and I'm very grateful that you're taking the time to chat with me, I mention it. And so that's part of mentoring also, not just career-wise, but helping souls find their purpose.
You should write a book, Eddie. I think it would be a really cool book, actually.
Well,
you definitely should.
If I have to write 3 books by the age 75, right?
Right?
I have 13 years. So, yeah, I have like 4 years to write a book. Yeah, each book. I could do it.
You better start now because they always take longer than they expect. I've been trying to write a book since I was 16 and I haven't gotten past the 2nd chapter.
Hey, for all you friends in the spirit, here's the logo if you haven't seen it.
Ah, cool. That's awesome. You should plug into Eddie. He's on YouTube. He's on Facebook. You are on Instagram, but you don't really use that one, I don't think.
Yeah, I kind of get bored with Instagram, and it's just too much. Could I plug something that's going to happen in the future?
Of course, please.
So I'm always meeting people, right? And I'm meeting people through work and through Facebook and through LinkedIn. And I met this young lady, Ragne Sinakis, I think that's how you say it. But she has something she's going to start. It's going to be on Roku television, and it's going to be on Amazon Prime Fire, called Starpreneurs TV. And I am going to be highlighted in the health section. Now, I'm not a doctor or anything, but it's more like the spiritual health.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And I have, 100 or so videos. So basically, I'm uploading my videos from YouTube onto their platform. And somewhere around September 9th or so, Starpreneurs TV is going to launch. And this face is going to be on camera. Like, I'm going to be, like you are. So it's going to be really interesting. It's going to be a blessing. I'm very grateful. And I don't know where it's going to go. I don't know if 10 people, 20 people are going to see it, if hundreds, and where it goes and how I could touch people's lives and help them. But, like I said, I've been doing these Friends in the Spirit 101 videos for many years. So you're going to see some of the early ones that, with the handheld and shaky and all that stuff. It's more my home little studio here. So
it's called Starpreneurs?
Starpreneurs. So you have entrepreneur. It's Starpreneur TV.
That's so cool. There's a lot of playoffs on the word entrepreneur these days, but I haven't heard Starpreneur. That's really, really cool.
Yeah, and she has a podcast called Dominate the Decade. And she interviewed me a while ago, and I think we just hit it off. And then she said, you should be part of this. And I said, yes, let's do it.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I'll have to get the details off you so that I don't miss it. Because, I'd like to tune into that. That sounds really, really cool. Thank you for sharing.
You're welcome. Now, your friends that are watching don't hear, but we hear 30 seconds. So that means we have to wrap up soon.
We do. We have
30 seconds. Can I keep on going, or you just chop us?
No, they keep on going. Yeah, because I don't have an internal clock. I just have to wing it.
So it's a friendly suggestion.
Yes, exactly. And it is about time to wrap the 30 seconds up, I think. So we'll be back in another 2 minutes, guys.
Yeah.
Bye.
The opiate epidemic has reached crisis levels, and with so many families affected by addiction, opiate-related drug overdoses, and death, the time is now to have a real constructive conversation about addiction that could lead to better prevention, treatment, and recovery. Alan Charles, author and keynote speaker on drug abuse and prevention, presents The Alan Charles Show. Alan brings a message of hope, sharing his unbelievable story of surviving a 24-year addiction to cocaine and highlights from his memoir, Walking Out the Other Side, an addict's journey from loneliness to life. His raw honesty and courageous heart breaks the stigma of addiction and offers a unique perspective into the mind of an addict. Join Alan each week as he brings his listeners to a true understanding of the grip of addiction. It is only with this understanding that we can begin to heal. The Alan Charles Show, Thursdays at 9 p.m. Eastern on the BBM Global Network. Have you ever felt like no one is listening, or you're not getting the honest attention you deserve? Do you even know the kind of attention you want or need? You are not alone. Alice Aspen March is here to help. Thanks to Alice, through her epiphany and research over the word attention, there are solutions to the attention dilemma. Worldwide audiences have been enthralled and engaged for over 40 years with her visionary and pioneering observations. The kind of attention we get and give is vital to improving our lives and society. Alice and her weekly guests review game-changing insights for transforming and improving our understanding of attention, providing techniques for creating healthier and empowering behavior. Get a new perspective on a mainstream word. Tune into Why Our Attention Matters for fresh and thought-provoking conversations every Tuesday at 3 p.m. Eastern on boldbravemedia.com and the TuneIn Radio app.
Welcome back to Happiness Ninja Down Under, guys. I'm Jamie Rose, and I'm here with the very funny, very talented Eddie Luisi. Thank you, Eddie. I haven't had... Oops, sorry. I cut you off there.
It's okay.
I was just going to say I haven't had this much fun in an interview for a while, actually.
Yeah, I'm glad.
I always make them fun, but you have something very special about your energy.
Thank you. I have a healthy happiness.
Oh, but I thought you weren't healthy or happy.
Well, now I am. After 30 minutes with you, I'm healthy and I'm happy. And can I give a plug to your engineer, technical person, producer, director, Anastasia? Oh. Hi, Anastasia. You're doing a great job.
If only she could reply back. She can't.
She's in charge.
I'm sure she appreciates it, though.
Just like to herself.
I'll do your suggestion one of these days and bring a photo of them.
That would be really nice. Good.
Actually, speaking of, you joke when you say you're not healthy or happy, but you do have a teenage daughter, and you do deal with teenagers and young adults quite a bit through the Future Now, and I'm sure through church and through all your ministry and music as well. I wanted to know, with that work, what's the biggest challenge that you foresee that's stopping teenagers from maintaining happiness or even achieving it initially at all?
At work?
No, just in general, in life in general.
Well, I guess life in general, these phones and computers, like there's a lot of screen time. Mm-hmm. And I see my teenage daughters enjoying that screen time and having fun with friends and this and that. But I grew up, 1959 in the 60s and outside in an apartment building, and you would just run outside and there's 20 kids there and you're playing and you're doing football and baseball, riding bikes and this and that. So especially where I live, you have to hop in a car to drive to a person's house. You have to make dates and you have to call up. I mean, in the old days, we call them play dates, but it's like, to hang out, to get together. So I think it's more difficult nowadays. Now, I'm not saying for all communities and all people, because there might be neighborhoods that there are 20 kids and they just open up the door and go in each other's houses. But that's what we used to do. So I think that's a little bit that takes away from happiness, but obviously social media and a lot of people enjoy it and spend tons of hours. And right now we're on a computer, right? And we're having fun, and hopefully there are people that are watching us and enjoying it too. So I'm not knocking that at all, but I do think the human interaction and hanging out and having fun and playing, I think definitely leads to a different type of happiness that what I grew up with and what I enjoy.
Yeah, I agree. And I mean, from a brain science perspective, it does change the way that children's brains develop. There's not a lot of study on that. I don't think they probably want to really research that that much, but I do know from some of the people that I'm connected to that it does change the brain structures. And I think that that is a significant problem.
And let's talk about a little bit the pandemic and all these Zoom interviews. I work for Good Morning America, so I'm still a stage manager. I'm still on the set, but I'm just on the set with the 3 hosts. So all the interviews are Zooms. All the celebrities are Zooms. We're starting to open up with the vaccinations, right? So just the past week, we had Ryan Reynolds on, we had Matt Damon on, and we had different people. So they're slowly coming on. But Ryan Reynolds was actually nervous. And when he was on the set, he actually said, I'm not used to this. Like, I'm used to being in my house and just on a day. So now there's a little nervousness. And I know you are great people, and I know it's going to be a great time, and you're all professionals, but I haven't done this in a year and a half, 2 years. And how many kids in school learning virtually, right? And the hybrid and that.
Exactly.
It was really, really, really difficult, not only learning the physical stuff of math and English and geography and science, but being distant from people and mentally and all that sort of stuff. So
definitely. I think we're going to have a generation full of problems moving forward, with kids growing up not being able to see each other's faces and learn emotional regulation and cognition and things like that. I think that's going to be a whole other world of problems that we face in the near future.
Well, let's hope that things normalize. Let's hope that people vaccinate. Let's hope that people still wearing their mask and social distance and clean, so we could get rid of this coronavirus, or at least subdue it, So there's my little plug. So vaccinated folks.
So besides the phones and not being able to play, for the more older, like teenagers and young adults, what's the biggest challenge for happiness for them that you foresee?
So almost the same type thing. I'm not understanding your question. Where are you going?
You mean that the face-to-face human interaction, that's the biggest problem? I'm not talking about in the pandemic. I mean, just in general, like teenagers in today's society.
So in today's society, well, I'm not an expert in teenage.
I know, I'm just asking your opinion.
I'm a parent, and I do have 4 kids, and my kids are 14, 18. So I have 2 teenagers, a 22-year-old and a 30-year-old. I think being a parent, you have to listen to your kids, you have to observe them, and you have to treat them all as equals, as individuals. They're equally loved, but they're all different personalities. So you have to kind of observe their different personalities and their different, the way they dress, the way they act, their friends, their different activities, and respect that. I'm pretty loosey-goosey. I have certain type of old-fashioned beliefs. But other than that, I like to say yes more than I say no. I like to let them grow and try things. Like I said, I wasn't mentored when I was younger. So if one of my daughters or my son is interested in something, I'm making phone calls and emails trying to help them. And it's like, Dad, slow down. But that's one thing that I like to do to try to help out my teenagers.
That's beautiful. I love that. I didn't have that, so I appreciate that. As a parent, you are doing that. We do have to cut to the break, so we'll be back in one moment, guys. Stay tuned.
Mike Zorich, a 3-time California state champion in Greco-Roman wrestling at 114 pounds. Mike, blind since birth, was born in Hartford, Connecticut. He was a 6-time national placer, including 2 seconds, 2 thirds, and 2 fourths. He also won the Veterans Folk-Style Wrestling twice at 152 pounds. In all these tournaments, he was the only blind competitor. Nancy Zorich, a creative spirit whose talents have taken her to the stage and into galleries and exhibitions in several states. Her father, a commercial artist who shared his instruments with his daughter and helped her fine-tune her natural abilities, influenced her decision to follow in his footsteps. Ms. Zorich has enjoyed a fruitful career doing what she loves. Listen Saturday mornings at 12 Eastern for the Nancy and Mike Show for heartwarming stories and interesting talk on the BBM Global Network. Dr. RC will share extraordinary resources and services that promote educational success, as well as making a difference in the lives of all social workers, as well as the lives of children, adolescents, and teens of today. She will have open discussions addressing many of the issues that we face about our youth and how being employed in the uniquely skilled profession of social work for over 18 years has taught invaluable lessons through her personal experiences. She will also provide real-life facts, examples, and personal stories that will confirm that why serving as a child advocate is extremely beneficial when addressing the needs of the whole child. Listen live to Dare to Soar, Saturdays, 10 a.m. Eastern on the BBM Global Network, and tune in radio as Dr. RC will provide thought-provoking information that will empower, encourage, and strengthen students, families, and communities across our nation. You can also visit her at soarwithkatie.com.
Welcome back to Happiness Ninja Down Under. I'm your host, Jamie Rose, and we're coming to you live on Bold Brave TV. I am here with the infectious and crazy Eddie Luisi. He's the stage manager of Good Morning America and the founder of Friends in the Spirit 111. Check him out on Facebook and YouTube. Thank you, Eddie. I'm very grateful to have you here, taking time to spend with my audience, sharing your words of wisdom and just views on life in general.
Thank you. Thank you. We're live?
We are live. Did you not know that?
I'm scared now. I thought we were taping and we could edit this. Oh, my goodness.
No. I think you're joking, though.
So Anastasia, our director, said that, I bobble and move around a lot. So I'm going to just do this for a second. How's that, Anastasia? Am I in the frame? Or no? Now I'm going to go to this side. Hey, Anastasia, how's that?
Oh, you're hilarious. I don't know if anyone could hear that, but she did say move back. I heard that in my ears.
Wow, tough. That's a tough director out there. So we have one long segment and a short one. So
yes, we do.
Let's get to the meat. What do you want to talk about?
Well, so I want to know about your relationship with God and how it has helped you through challenging times.
Wow. So for me, God is not an old white man with long hair up in the clouds. God is love. God is everything. God is in everything. For me personally, even though I grew up Catholic and I'm still a Catholic church musician, so I still have a certain figure of God, the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit. But for me, God is so important in my life. There are certain people, especially in Friends in the Spirit, that aren't God-type people. So I said, fine, if I ever use the word God, take it out and put the word universe or divine or light or love. It's fine. It's totally cool.
Mother Nature.
There's no judgment here. But for me, God, whatever God is, and I don't know, but God is in my life, and I speak to God all the time. I wake up, and when I first wake up, I talk to God, and I thank God for a good night's sleep and for waking up, and I bless my family and my friends in the spirit, friends of the universe, because I believe there are people in the universe or other beings. I get ready, I read reflections, and then I stretch and I say prayers. Then I come downstairs and I have pictures of my parents and pictures of other things, and I say reflections and prayers and thoughts. I go out my house and I say prayers and blessings for my family, for the neighborhood. And then I drive, and at certain intersections, I call them holy intersections, and I just stop and I have a crystal and I hold the crystal and I say a little prayer connection, or with the stars and the moon, which is all God, right? And then I stop my little chapel that used to be open, but now with COVID it's closed, but I stay outside and I say an Our Father, which is a Christian prayer. And then I'm driving and I'm blessing nature and I'm blessing other drivers. So it's constant. I go to work and I go on my computer and I go to dailyword.com and I read a daily reflection. And I'm on my computer, and Friends in the Spirit, we have different prayer groups. And either I send out a reflection or a prayer, or my friend Darren or other people. So God is always in my life. And being a father also and a husband, I'm always praying for my family. I'm always praying for the best. And I always say God's will, because I'm an old time TV show Twilight Zone. And it's like, if you ask for something and you get it exactly, you don't know what all the other things could happen. You know what I'm saying? Like some bad or weird things could happen. So instead of asking for $1 million home and a this and that, you don't know how that's going to mess up and screw everything else. So I just ask for God's will. I pray for my faith, family, my friends. I ask for health, wealth, and happiness. And then my dear friend, he's also an author, Cliff Shipe. You should have him on your show. He wrote a book called Cliff Falls. But he's out in LA and he's helping my daughter out in LA, and he's a dear friend in the spirit. But he says he believes in, from the Bible, 3 words: strong, firm, and steadfast. And I looked it up, and I don't know, First Peter or whatever, but it's like we all go through suffering, but at the end of suffering, help us, God, to be strong, firm, and steadfast. And I said, wow, that's pretty good. Because on this earth, right, we all have problems. We all have aches. We're all human. We have wrinkles. We have this. People get cancer, they get this and that. And how do I deal with that? How do you deal with mental illness? How do you deal with losing a job or losing a spouse or divorce and I'm not saying they're tests, because I don't think God is a person out there with a sheet and having all these tests. Okay, I'm going to do this, and here's the test. So now when you die, I'm going to take out your notes, and I'm going to check and see when you did this and when you didn't do that, or when you thought of me. I don't think that's what God is about. I don't believe that God is a judgmental God. I grew up in the faith of, you're a sinner and you're going to hell and you're going to torment it.
Yeah.
I don't believe in any of that. I believe we as humans judge. I believe God is love and God accepts everyone and all things, and we're the ones. And not that we're bad because we judge. It's just part of our human behavior, right? People, you look at yourself and you look at your hair and you look at your dress, or, I joked about your sign, and that's a lawn thing. And I'm joking, I'm not being mean or anything, but I think
I know.
I think a lot of, and what I try to do, I took the word sin out of my life, right? A long time ago, and I sin less. Like, because I don't have that word over me. And I take the word judgment out of my life, and I observe things. I'm not judging, I'm observing.
I've always thought that the saying like God fearing, I never got that either, because it's, to me, it's like an oxymoron. Like, love is God. He's not.
Right.
I don't think he wants people to fear him.
I
That
don't
seems
think
counterintuitive.
I think that's certain religions, especially in the old days, they put that fear of God in you, and it's unfortunate. And there are people to this day that still have that fear, that guilt in them. And if you're listening to me and you have that fear and that guilt in you, God bless you. You're good. You're loved. You're kind. Be a friend in the spirit, one, and God is love.
Yeah, I agree that the fear should be let go. It doesn't seem congruent with spirituality or religion or anything like that. We do have to cut to the break. We have one more segment to come back to. This is going so quickly. So we will be back in one moment, guys.
Come back. Don't leave us.
Did you know that your beliefs create your entire reality, but it's the subconscious beliefs that do most of the creating? Belief shifter and life coach Shiraz can help you identify those limiting beliefs and eliminate them, often in a single session.
Like it was almost instant, like I had relief right away.
Creating better health, relationships, careers, and finances. Let Shiraz help you step out of safety and into awareness.
Definitely something's happening. It's like a flow inside. It feels good.
Whether in person or online, Shiraz provides personal coaching, belief shifting. Visit Shiraz at energeticmagic.com or call 416-529-7429. Energetic Magic on the BBM Global Network, Tuesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern. Find your greater happiness. Be well. Be aware. Be magical. Author, radio show host, and coach John M. Hawkins reveals strategies to help gain perspective, build confidence, find clarity, achieve goals. John M. Hawkins' new book, Coached to Greatness, Unlock Your Full Potential with Limitless Growth, published by iUniverse. Hawkins reveals strategies to help readers accomplish more. He believes the book can coach them to greatness. Hawkins says that the best athletes get to the top of their sport with the help of coaches, mentors, and others. He shares guidance that helps readers reflect on what motivates them, rediscover and assess their core values, philosophies, and competencies, find settings that allow them to be the most productive, and track their progress towards accomplishing goals. Listen to John Hawkins' My Strategy, Saturdays, 1 p.m. Eastern on the BBM Global Network and TuneIn Radio.
Welcome back to the last segment of Happiness Ninja Down Under. I'm Jamie Rose, the host of this series. You are listening to Bold Brave TV, coming to you live. I have Eddie Luisi here with me. He is the founder of Friends in the Spirit 111, and he has been a stage manager for Good Morning America for a very, very long time. Probably half your life, right?
Yeah.
more than half your life.
Yeah, actually, over 33 years, that would make me 66. So no, yeah, more than half my life. I'm not 60.
Wow. Beautiful.
This is our last segment.
It is.
What am I going to do the rest of the night? I mean, I was planning to chat with you till like 10 o'clock and then go to bed.
Hey, we can chat for a little bit after the show still. I do have to go and meet some people, so it won't be for too long, but we can chat. Well, seeing as though this is the last segment, we only have a short amount of time. You have a favorite little bit of quote or reflection. If you'd like to share that, it's on joy.
Yes, this is received from dailyword.com Unity. Joy, the light and love of God is my joy. All people are meant to feel joy and delight in life. Smiles, laughter, and deep happiness all spring from joy that is ours by divine right. Reasons for happiness may come and go, but the joy in which those experiences are rooted is an enduring spiritual truth. Joy is essential to my divine identity as a child of God. I keep joy alive every time I breathe and smile. I bring to mind the people and experience that enliven and inspire me. I know that there is an underlying opportunity for me to focus on all that brings joy to me and others. True joy comes from my openness to the activity of God in my life, God's love, light, energy, and zeal. It's all in me, and among my greatest gifts, I remember this and I choose joy.
That's beautiful. Well said. Thank you.
I didn't write it, though, but I read it.
I'm sure you could write just as well.
I could write something like that.
Yeah, exactly. You're going to write 3 books within the next 13 years, so you better start learning.
That's it. I'm ready. Let's do it.
So before we wrap up, I actually have this could open a can of worms, but I'm curious what this question. I've had this question myself.
Okay.
How is your faith received in the industry that you work in? Because most people probably wouldn't, like, it's a very kind of fickle industry in a lot of ways.
So I'm going to answer that with the 3 words, cue the spirit. Okay. So on the set of Good Morning America, I cue the spirit. The spirit doesn't have to be spiritual. It's my personality. So the way we're chit-chatting and we're laughing and we're having fun and we're bringing Anastasia, and that's how I work at Good Morning America. Even though I'm a professional and there are times that I'm in the news and I have to be straight and serious, but that spirit I bring to the guests, to the host, to the audience members, to my fellow crew people. And that spirit is part of who I am, my divine dwelling, my indwelling, my spirit, my God. And it doesn't have to be religious. I don't have to talk Jesus. I don't have to, get into religious conversations. If somebody wants to, I have tattoos, says blessed
Cool.
and forgiven. So people will see that. Sometimes I wear Buddha beads. Sometimes I have a Christian ring. I have a crystal here. So if somebody wants to observe something and have a conversation, I will. But I won't preach. But people will see by the way I am, by my light and by my love, my personality, how I cue the spirit. And as a stage manager, you cue, right? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, cue.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, you wait for people to approach you.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's smart. Well, we have come to the end. It's gone so quick. I can't believe it. He's pulling out the guitar very quickly. You're going to send us off? Well, okay, he's going to send us off. He wasn't going to do this. I did ask, but he didn't want to. But now he's doing it. He's going to take us to the end with his song. So thanks, everyone, for tuning in, and I'll see you next week. Thank you very much, Eddie, for coming on and for playing. And we'll give you a few seconds to play before they end it.
Thank you.
That was cool. See you next week, guys. Bye.
Bye, everybody.
This has been Happiness Ninja Down Under with your host, Jamie Rose. Tune in each week and join the conversation as Jamie highlights the true power of the human mind to create a thriving world. Right here on Jamie Rose's Happiness Ninja Down Under.
You've been listening to the BBM Global Network. The ideas, views, and opinions of this broadcast are those of the participants of the program and are not necessarily the ideas, views, and opinions of the BBM Global Network Company.